Hey everybody, welcome to our UFC 294 early predictions. First fight card in a long time, which is actually got me excited. We got a great card here. We got the headliner, which is champ versus champ, Volkanovski versus Islam Makhachev, and then a great number one contenders match, Kamaru Usman versus Khamzat Chimaev. Fantastic card. Please like, please subscribe. Let's break it down. First fight of the night, Bruno Silva versus debuting Sharabutin Magomedov. Magomedov comes in with a ton of hype, 11-0, 10 knockouts, scary looking guy, one eye. I don't know how many teeth he has because he's missing a bunch of those too. If you saw this guy in the alley at midnight, you'd be shitting your pants. This is a scary fellow, and this is a banger. This is going to be a stand-up war for however long it lasts. I don't see any grappling happening here. I see a knockout. It could go either way, but I'm gonna go with all the hype. I'm gonna go with Magomedov by knockout. What do you think?
Yeah, he's a striker, and a striker by a lot. Like a long means, like, you know what I mean? Like some great knees in the clinch. He has some good cage work up on the side as well. The hype, fuck, it looks real to me. It seems real to me. Bruno Silva's there to be hit. He screws me over when I need him to lose, and he always it's for me, like I can't keep like pick a right Bruno Silva fight. He's such a 50-50 fighter. This fight is probably 60-40. I'm going to side with the favorite there, Magomedov. But I would say under 2.5 would probably be the best bet.
Yep, for sure. It's going to be a great opener. Anyways, I'm really looking forward to that one. Next fight of the night, we got Jinyu Frey versus Victoria Dudakova. Victoria's 7-0, 6 finishes. I ain't picking Jinyu Frey over Frey over basically anyone. I'm not really going to ever pick her. So I'm going to go with Victoria Dudakova. And I think the finish is live. I mean, I think it's going to be an over. I don't think it's going to be super, super quick, but I do think she'll get this done. I mean, she's got good submissions. She's got pretty good ground and pound. I mean, her striking's not great, but it's not like Jinyu Frey's any better, really. So give me Victoria Dudakova. Yeah, what do you think?
I think Dudakova is the more well-rounded fighter. It sucks that her fight with Nunez finished so quickly the last time. We didn't get to really see exactly what the hype was all about, but you did get to see glimpses of it in the beginning there. She looked like she knew what she was doing. Whatever Nunez was coming up with, she controlled it. The whole arm elbow break, whatever happened, was because she could, it was her controlling Nunez that caused that whole entire thing. Anyway, like you said, I mean, Frey's on her way out, man. Like, this is more about Frey being bad than it is about Dudakova being really good, right? The last 3 fights, Frey, who'd she lose to? Demopoulos, Vienna, and Reed. Decent ladies, but not anywhere close to anything that's cream of the crop. Pretty much just where Dudakova is skill-wise, I think. So, yeah, I mean, odds are wide, minus 350, but I think Dudakova's got her covered on everywhere.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. All right, next fight of the night. We got a pretty good fight here. We got Nathaniel Wood versus Muhammad Naimov. Wood coming in at minus 300. I don't like those odds at all. Muhammad is coming off of that upset knockout over Jamie Mullarkey. And don't get me wrong, he was losing the fight. But the thing is, this guy hits hard. He's got real finishing power. And Nathaniel Wood gets rocked often. Like, I think Nathaniel Wood is the more technical fighter, is the more he's a better strike. I think he's the better fighter, but he gets hit and he doesn't have the power. And this guy's finishing power, I think this guy has a real good chance of pulling an upset here. I think there's 2 outcomes. I think it's Nathaniel Wood by decision, by out technicaling him, like, or out striking him, or Naimov, whatever you pronounce his name, or he scores the knockout with a big punch, which would not shock me. Full disclosure, I think this card, every underdog is live. I think this is a card of singles. I think there's a lot of parlay busters on this card. So I would be sticking to singles, and I'll wait till the props drop or see where this line finishes. But at minus 300, I'm not loving Nathaniel Wood. How do you see this playing?
Nathaniel Wood's the more well-rounded fighter by far. He outstrikes this guy 6-3. His takedown defense is at about 75%. So I don't think this hits the ground anyway. It's basically your well-rounded striker, leg kicks, more volume, more everything on the Nathaniel Wood part, versus a puncher's chance. I can see where the minus 300 comes in. I understand why it's minus 300, but a zero finishing equity on the Nathaniel Wood side, like you said. I see him out voluming this guy, coming at different angles, getting him, kind of working just the same way Jamie Malarkey was working, with less wrestling probably than Jamie Malarkey would put out there. Yeah, Wood's the better fighter, more pass. I'm gonna take Wood minus 300. Hate the odds. Would probably boost it up with a little decision prop there when it happens.
All right, there we go. Next fight of the night. This is probably the fight I like the least on the card. We got Anshul Jubli versus Mike Breeden. Jubli's coming in like a huge favorite, minus 400. And like, I get it. Mike Breeden's not good, but like Jubli is not some devastating fighter. Like he's kind of boring, to be honest. He likes to kind of grapple you up, tie you up, get the takedowns. I don't think he's going to be some super exciting finisher. I think this is a boring fight, and I don't think it really does much for either guy here. I think Jubli wins the fight, but minus 400, I'm not playing him. This is probably like the only fight of the night I have no interest in all honesty. But what do you think?
Who answered? Jubli there's my brown brethren, so there's not much of us Indian. There's not much of us Indian fighters in the UFC. Anyway, but Mike Breeden, nothing I've seen in tape I like from Mike Breeden. This throw out the Terrence McKinney fight that he had last time, and more look at that fight against Natan Levy there. He was able to be taken down. He was able to be controlled. That's Jubli's bread and butter, right? So, and the striking, I don't know. Both of them seem kind of like lacking in that department. I just think Jubli would push the takedowns, push the ground control, because that's the same game plan Natan Levy used, and it worked to perfection. I don't see that he changes that. Minus 400 is saying that the odds makers think that this is going to be a grappling match on Jubli's part, because that's the strongest part of the game. So, yeah, I'm going to take Anshul Jubli. I'm not too sure, though, if it's going to be a decision or a knockout. Check later on in the week.
Yep. All right. Next fight of the night, we got Cedrikas Dumas versus Abu Azaitar. Cedrikas has done us wrong many times, so you know what? You already know where I'm going with my pick. I don't trust the guy whatsoever, and he's actually a decent sized favorite here, minus 175, which to me, I would never trust him to be a minus 175. I mean, he's proven that he's got bad takedown defense, and honestly, his striking has not lived up to the hype whatsoever. So to me, I don't really get it. Maybe he's a slightly better output than Abu, whatever, maybe, or maybe he can get a choke. But honestly, I like the dog here personally. I think he's got the power advantage, and I think if he was smart and actually would wrestle, I think he would be the one on top and can win from the top position. Cedrikas has showed terrible takedown defense, so I don't know. I don't understand the minus 175 personally. And I mean, Azaitar might be susceptible to getting in these firefights and getting knocked out, but I don't think Cedrikas is that great of a striker. So I might be stabbing the dog. It's either dog or pass for me. It's dog or pass. No high confidence, but I just don't like Cedrikas. What do you think?
Okay, so both these guys have red flags. I don't find Cedrikas's gas tank that great, and I don't find Abu's gas tank that great either. Abu tires out because he blows his load a lot quicker based on strikes per minute. Like, so you're looking at 5 strikes per minute to 1.5 strikes per minute. That's huge difference. Like, you know what I mean? Is red flag is Azaitar is for his cardio. He throws with bad intentions. Cedric doesn't throw with bad intentions. I don't find his wrestling that great either. Right? So this fight, it's funny. I'm going to stab the dog too, but for a different reason, because I just think his striking is better. He's going to get to Cedric before the Cedric can, like, what is he going to do? Make this fight go longer? He doesn't look better as it goes longer. Let's get like real here. So he's not going to be able to take him down in the first round. So that's my thing. The takedowns will come for Cedric because he's more of a grappler. The takedowns will come as the fight goes on. But the fight has to go on for it to, for that to happen. Let's be honest. I think Azaitar just blitzes him and wins by a knockout. Devastating knockout.
I would love to see it. I'd love it. I'm rooting for it. I'm rooting for it. Next fight of the night, we got Javid Basharat versus Victor Henry. Interesting fight. The odds are kind of crazy here, minus 450. I mean, I get it. Basharat's undefeated. He appears to be the better striker and the better grappler. But Victor Henry kind of pulls off these strange upsets where he out grapples guys that he shouldn't out grapple. So, I mean, I'm not stabbing the dog. I'm not. I'm just not so sure that I'm going to be playing minus 450 either. I think Basharat gets it done. Like I said, I think he's better everywhere, but I just, the odds are too wide for me to play them. But give me Basharat to win. I think he's slightly better everywhere. What do you think?
Well, I don't know. Striking, it's pretty close because I think Victor Henry does throw more volume. He does land 8.6 strikes per minute, so which is pretty high. Versus the 5.5. So I think both striking is pretty good. Their striking defense, though, it does give it to Basharat, so he gets hit a lot less. Now with the takedown, both of them are about 80% on their takedown defense. So I don't know what happens because Basharat uses the grappling as a big part of his game plan, right? So he's taken down pretty much every opponent I've ever seen him fight in the UFC. So what if he can't take down Victor Henry, right? So that's the thing. Both these guys, Victor Henry's severely underrated because he has beaten Ronnie Barcelos and Tony Gravely, and that loss to Sansao, man, he was favored pretty heavily. I mean, and Basharat's he's undefeated, so there's a lot of hype coming in behind him. So for me, these odds are way too like big. And you said you wouldn't stab the dog. This is where I would stab the dog at plus 350. I actually like the dog here, and I actually like the dog by decision. I like this fight to go to decision. Now, Victor Henry's shown in the past that he's very durable, right? So if Javid Basharat's not going to go in there and just blitz him, so if he's going to win, he's going to win by decision. And Victor Henry also has shown that he likes to, he stretched out Barcelos, he stretched out all those other guys. So yeah, I like the decision, and I like the odds on Henry. I'm not saying I like Henry. Javid Basharat's a pretty damn good fighter too.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, all valid points. All right, moving on. Next prelim, we got Muhammad Yahya versus Trevor Peek. They're both coming in at minus 110. The line moved heavily, and that is because a ton of money is coming in on Trevor Peek all of a sudden. I've seen on some of the forums, there's all this insider information saying that Trevor Peek is going to body bag this guy. Yaya's a fraud. He cannot strike. He's super hittable. His wrestling's not good enough. He's going to get creamed. That's what I'm seeing on all the forums. Because I think originally when this fight was dropped, like not too many people knew Yahya, but they saw the record, and I think everybody wanted to fade Trevor Peek. And I don't know. I think just there's not enough footage on Yahya, and what there is, he looks very hittable. His wrestling doesn't look great. So this all leads to Peek being durable and hitting hard. So I know the public perception right now is that Peek's going to score a knockout at dead pick'em odds. I'll probably be stabbing that just because of everything I've read on the internet. I haven't seen enough I haven't done the true eye test. Like I said, not enough footage on Yahya, but I'll stab the Peek knockout here, but I don't think Peek's great by any means at all. What do you think?
I think it's a good match. Personally, like together, like both skill wise, like none of these guys are like upper echelon of anything at this point. Peek, he showed a little bit of durability the last fight with Mariscal. He didn't get finished right away. Mariscal showed a lot of durability though. But this guy, Yahya, I don't know if he's the same durability he shows. Problem is that all the guys he's fighting on the regional scene there are like really low level. Like if you go through some of their records, it's really bad. So what can you really get out of them? And the problem is also I like to see guys finishing every single fight on the regional scene. You should like decisioning guys. Like he decisioned what 3 out of his last 5 fights have been decisions, and then he got a knockout and a submission in the 5th round. So I don't know, man. These guys that you're only at UAE Warriors when you're fighting, so competition isn't super duper hard like the UFC. So like Trevor Peek's he's showing that he's not just gonna fall over, or he's just gonna die. Like, you know what I mean? And getting him at the minus 110 odds and the experience is what I'm taking. I'm taking the experience. I'm taking the durability, the semi-durability that he's shown over his last couple fights. And the fact that everything I saw on tape with this guy, Yahya, I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed with the striking. I'm not impressed with the ground game. because of the level of fighting that he has been up against. He should be rolling these guys. Should be rolling them.
Yeah, fair enough. Moving on, we got the last prelim of the night. Very interesting fight. We got Tim Elliott versus Muhammad Mokaev. These odds are insane to me. Mokaev -600, Tim Elliott +450. Like, I've been waiting to fade Mokaev. I swear to God, he has not looked good in any of his wins lately. Like last fight, almost got his knee broken. Fight before that, I don't even remember who the fight was, but I know he looked bad against Gordon. I know like a few of his fights just have not looked great at all. He's not a great striker. I don't know, man. Tim Elliott, I actually really dislike this guy. I can't stand his like walkout entrances where he's all like feeling himself and dancing and fucking doing all this gay shit. Like fucking sorry, I know you can't really use those words these days. I apologize. but like I don't know. I hate when guys do those fucking walkout entrances feeling themselves like that. I'm like, this guy deserves to get slept for that. But I truly believe that Tim Elliott is a tough matchup for him. Like Tim Elliott loves the scrambles, loves the wrestling. So like this is going to be a chain wrestling scramble after scramble after scramble fight. And I mean, Mokaev, he hasn't really shown takedown defense. Like he's shown takedowns, he's shown chokes, but he's been taken down as well. Like, I don't know, man. I think Tim Elliott could find some success here and he could play spoiler. I don't know. -600 just sounds insane. There's no way I'm playing him at -600 versus Tim Elliott. And like I said, I don't even like Tim Elliott, but I think this is a way closer fight. What do you think?
One thing I'll do is would stab the overs on this because I do think it's going to be a longer fight than usual. Because Mokaev, they always expect him to finish, but his striking leaves something to like wonder about. Like because like let's put it this way, man. He was supposed to be this killer, and then he comes out and he's always wrestling, which is fine. I'm okay with that when I'm betting fights and stuff like that, right? But like, yeah, but we're like betting this guy inside the distance and stuff, right? So we want the more killer instinct. Now Timmy Elliott there, like the rolls and the scrambles and what's gonna happen. Like so these guys that he's taking down Mokaev, they just sit on the ground and don't do anything. Is he that good at jiu-jitsu that he can't get swept or whatever? Okay, both these guys are going to take each other down. I don't exactly know how this is going to go fight-wise. It's going to be tough because it's going to be scramble up, down. I do think in my heart of hearts that Timmy Elliott has the better striking here. It's awkward, it's weird, it's angled. It's better than anything I've ever seen Mokaev throw out there, right? The ground game, I think Mokaev still has the better wrestling, but the jits and the scrambles kind of, I would say, go to Elliott from what I've seen too, right? So this is a very evenly matched fight, I think. And for it to be -500 and +380 is outlandish. So it's a dogger pass. And this isn't even like, oh, I'm going to put Mokaev on my YOLO ticket. Don't do that. Don't do that.
No.
Don't do that.
Says parlay. I'm telling you, this card has a lot of parlay bust. Somebody is going to come through with a big upset.
I don't know, man. I would line this fight like maybe -250, 300.
Yep.
Something like that. Mokaev is definitely the favorite. 1000% the favorite.
Yeah, but not
like,
-600.
No, I think it's like -250, 275. Say -275. I think that's a fair assessment because he's a younger guy with the better wrestling, but he's not that much of the better fighter overall. Maybe I'm wrong.
All right, guys, moving on to the main card. If you haven't already, please subscribe. First fight of the main card, we got Said Nurmagomedov versus Muin Gafurov. This is actually kind of a weird choice for the main card opener. I think some of the prelims were better, but this is also kind of an interesting fight. We got Nurmagomedov, who I think is going to win by decision. But you got Gafurov, who is a straight killer. Like the guy is a finisher. Like he hits hard as hell. He's actually a pretty good wrestler. I think that's his path to victory here, I think, is to shoot those takedowns, and that's how he can win this fight. But I don't know if he will wrestle enough. I find like he doesn't use it enough. And if this turns into a striking contest, I think Nurmagomedov will just kind of outpoint him. So give me Nurmagomedov and any of the overs. What do you think?
I think this is a Nurmagomedov get right spot. To be honest with you, I think that he probably won that fight against Jonathan Martinez last time. It was very close, razor thin. And from what we saw last night of Jonathan Martinez, he is a straight killer. Uh, and he's getting better. So Nurmagomedov, I feel, is in that same echelon because that fight was really damn close. You put a paper in between the judges on that one, right? So, and then you take a look at his record, who's fought like Kakramanov, Douglas D. Silva Andrade, Cody Stamen, and then Gafurov's losing to guys like Castaneda and Analiger. No, man, this guy has fought the way better competition. I feel like the UFC, and I'm not even talking skills here. I can go skill for skill. Yeah, Gafurov has good wrestling, but Nurmagomedov has better wrestling, to be honest with you. And I feel like he has more technical striking. Maybe the volume is about pretty much the same. But like, I'm not even talking skills here. I just think the UFC gave this to him as a get right spot. I feel like this is one of my stronger leans as a get right spot on this card. If you want to parlay something, parlay Saeed with something you like and try to get plus odds. Two fights, three fights max.
Yeah, I mean, minus 200 on him is actually, he might be one of the better value picks on the card, to be honest.
I think so because I don't believe in Gafurov's skills and just the resume. The resume for Saeed is so much more better. So much more better. It's better than Khabib's resume on almost, man. Like, it's a good resume that he's got so far. Like, the guys he's fighting aren't little pushovers, right? Like, Douglas has his ways, but he's a good fighter. Like, Stamen's got his ways, but you actually have to fight to beat Cody Stamen, right? You know what I mean? And like Jonathan Martinez looked like he'd beat anybody in the division yesterday. And look what happens. You know, Saeed fought him very tough. So yeah, that's the way I look at that shit.
All right. Moving on. Next fight of the main card, we got Ikram Aliskerov versus Warlley Alves. I mean, Warlley Alves is a tough guy. He does hit hard. I mean, he does have real finishing ability, but I think Ikram is better everywhere. And I think the odds kind of reflect that. He's coming in at minus 450. I mean, he was predominantly known as a grappler in the early days, but he's actually shown pretty good striking as well. So I think he's better everywhere. He's younger. Warlley Alves is fairly inactive. So, I mean, I like Ikram Aliskerov to get it done here. Dare I say he finishes? I think he does. I'm going to have to wait for any props to come out before I think about betting it, though, because I don't like minus 450. I got to find something better to play the fight. But I think Ikram absolutely gets it done probably anywhere he wants, I think. What do you think?
I agree. I think he's the more well-rounded guy. His wrestling, I say the wrestling is his bread and butter, but we saw that the hands are a lot more improved. So on his regional scene tape, when I looked at it, I said he was a little sloppy. If we look back at our breakdown from the last time, if I say he's a little sloppy, he uses the punches to get in on the takedowns. But as he showed in the last fight, he uses the punches to finish guys, right? So I don't know, man. I think it's a cut and dry. I don't like the odds though. I don't like the odds at all. Minus 500 stink. But like you said, I think this is inside the distance, right? So he finished Haas pretty quickly last time, and you know, I would say Haas is probably better than Warlley Alves, skill for skill, right?
Not as durable.
No, well, I don't feel like Warlley Alves is durable. Like the one time he won in the last 4 fights was when he beat Munir Laziz, and I was like, oh, what the hell? He lost to Jeremiah Wells and Nicholas Dalby, right? So, I mean, I don't feel that he's durable either. I like Aliskerov. I think he wins by whatever he wants to win by. He's just better everywhere. Striking's way better. From what I saw last fight, those punches against Haas were way, way more technical. There was way, way more power behind them than anything I saw in his regional tape.
Yep. No, fair enough. All right, moving on. We got the featured fight of the night. We got Magomed Ankalaev versus Johnny Walker in the light heavyweight division. Listen, Johnny Walker's kind of got a little winning streak going for himself here after everybody kind of wrote him off and had no faith in him. He's got a winning streak going, but I think that winning streak's over here. I mean, Ankalaev isn't risky enough to get KO'd, I don't think. And I don't think that Johnny Walker is going to be Paul Craig and score a 1-second submission to take a loss from him. Like I just think Ankalaev can win this fight, I think, all day. It's just a matter of Will he pitter patter him to a decision? Like history says, historically, that's kind of how he fights. But dare I say, he knocks Johnny Walker out because like he knows he's getting no favors from the UFC. Like he probably beat Jan Blachowicz or whatever, didn't get a rematch, nothing. They kind of bypassed him. That's got to be a wake-up call to, hey, you got to do this yourself. You're not going to get any favors done. You need to get some finishes if you want that title, because they don't really want this guy as the champ, but he's probably good enough to be the champ. So go out there, make a statement, and go get your belt. And I expect him to make that statement against Johnny Walker. Like I said, the worst case is he's another boring decision win, but I think he wins regardless. And I think Johnny Walker doesn't have the chin if Ankalaev wants to really put it on him. So I'm going to hope Ankalaev gets the knockout here. But what do you think?
So Ankalaev is one of my favorite fighters. I think he has Johnny Walker covered on all bases here. He's a better wrestler. He has a better ground game. The only thing he doesn't have better is probably power. But again, he fights so technical, so well. That's his problem, though, right? I love the guy, but the last few fights have been boring as hell, right? And that's the problem. Like before, when he was going out, when he fought Ion Cutelaba, those two fights, I know lower level of competition and whatnot, but like he went out there and he hit him and stung him. He was pinpoint with his strikes, pinpoint with his kicks, stuff like that. Like that's what's going to win this fight for him. And yeah, I feel like he's got to do more. He's got to do more. Like if this comes down to him taking down Johnny Walker and riding out top position, I don't know where he goes with that. I feel like he should strike with him because he's a better striker, technically better striker. And he's good at keeping his chin tucked out of the way. He doesn't get knocked out. And even when he does get hit, nobody knocks out Ankalaev, right? You got to get him in the 4:59 of the fourth round or whatever fucking Paul Craig got him on. That's pretty much it. So yeah, I like Ankalaev. I don't like minus 400, but I was trying to find a way to bet Walker, but there's no aspect of his game that's better aside from power, which is I don't bet on one punch power. Like when you just have a puncher's chance, like the other guy's got you covered.
Yep. All right, co-main event, we got a very controversial middleweight #1 contenders match. Dana White said the winner gets Sean Strickland. That's rustling a lot of feathers because obviously we got Duplessis kind of waiting there and being bypassed. But nonetheless, it's the #1 contenders match. We got Kamaru Usman versus Khamzat Chimaev. And I don't think this is going to answer a lot of questions. This is going to answer all the questions. Is Usman old? Is he shot? Can he stuff the takedowns at middleweight? Can he strike with Khamzat Chimaev? Can Chimaev strike with Usman? Can Chimaev ragdoll Usman like he's ragdolled everyone else? No one knows here. One thing I do know is I don't love Chimaev being a minus 275 and Usman coming in at plus 225. Like if this line grows farther apart, I'm probably gonna stab Usman. I swear to God. I don't know, man. Like I don't know. I just don't know. Like I said, this fight's gonna answer a lot. And I question what happens when Chimaev can't take you down. And I don't know. I'm not sure. I have a feeling this guy's going to be chinny or something. I mean, I don't know. There's nothing to really suggest it. But if he can't take you down, because he shoots so fast, which tells me he doesn't want to strike. So if Usman can stuff those takedowns, I don't know. Dare I say Usman might be the better striker or the harder hitter or the better chin? I don't know. But I think he's got a shot. Or will he be taken down at will and ragdolled? I don't know. I mean, this is going to answer all the questions for me. What do you think?
Usman sports a 97% takedown defense, and Khamzat sports a 100% takedown defense. So I really think this is going to play itself out on the feet, right? And what kind of striking does Khamzat really have? Like, I don't know. Like, it's tough. It looks technical enough, but Usman's pretty good too, right? Usman's pretty technical as well. He is getting old. I favor Khamzat's speed on this one, but Usman's pretty legit when it comes to like his chin and stuff like that. So I can't. Khamzat finishing Usman, he couldn't finish Gilbert Burns, and look what Usman did to Gilbert Burns, right? So like,
he was getting dropped by Gilbert Burns.
Yeah, so I don't like minus 275. I mean, Okay, by all intents and purposes, if I don't stab Usman here, I'm a bad capper. I feel like there's just a spot where you should stab. Not say, and guys, people that love Khamzat, I'm not saying Usman's better than Khamzat. I think it's a spot, right? He's just as good of a wrestler as Khamzat. Well, you can't tell me that Khamzat's wrestling's any better than what Usman has seen before in his career. And he's fought the best of the best. So striking, he'll come down striking. And you know what? I don't know how really good comes out one punch Gerald Mearshart. The punches against Gilbert looked like the sting came off of them as the fight went on. So what happens when that happens to Usman? So lots at stake here. I'm gonna stab the dog. I'm going to stab it. I like 225 on a former champion that I don't think is completely out of his prime yet.
Buddy, I rewatched that Khamzat and Burns fight, man. Hamzat's hooks are so fucking wild and looping, man. Like, he's asking to get hit. I said, I think if you just said that Usman's going to be able to keep it standing, if I was positive that he's going to keep it standing, I'm betting Usman to win a stand-up fight.
He's got the better jab, right?
He's got the better jab. I'm not positive he can keep it standing. I mean, Leon Edwards took him down. I know that was probably more being surprised than it was technical ability. But I mean, I don't know. If Usman can keep it standing, I favor him in a stand-up fight. That's all I'm going to say. So
he's got the better jab by far. He's got the better jab. So
I trust his durability more. Again, not as wild. I think Chimaev leaves a lot of openings when he swings for the fence.
It's gonna be a good fight.
I hope the line widens. I'm going to sit on this for a little bit and wait and see where this line goes. But I hope money comes in on Chimaev and then I'll stab Usman. But that's where I stand for now. And that leads us to the main event. We got champion versus champion, the rematch. Way better fight than originally scheduled. I'm sorry. I love Charles Oliveira. I love the guy. He's a killer. He's a finisher. But this is the more interesting matchup. We got Islam Makhachev 24-1 versus Alexander Volkanovski 26-2. Volkanovski looked amazing last fight versus Yair Rodriguez, but Yair Rodriguez is not Islam Makhachev. Volkanovski's basically coming in on I think 11 days notice. Whether he's playing mind games or telling the truth, he's saying this is him coming off the couch. I mean, I find it hard to believe that Volk's not always training, but he says he's coming off the couch and he was literally drinking beers a couple weeks ago. Almost sounds like he's building in excuses. I don't know whether that's true or mind games. I have no idea. Man, so much of me wants to stab Volkanovski, but I can't help but feel I don't know. I don't think he can do it on 11 days notice. I think Islam also had a horrendous weight cut that was documented very well last fight. So that could have played factors in that fight being so close. So I think Islam at home, I like both guys actually. So don't get me wrong. I'm not an Islam hater. I like both guys. I just really like Volkanovski. He's grown on me, but I think Islam gets this done. What do you think?
I think Islam gets this done. He's the bigger guy. I think he will be able to, in the early rounds, control him on the ground. I'm not an Islam liker. I do not like the way this guy fights at all. I do love Volk. So there's a couple things, though. Anyone that thinks Islam's going to finish Volkanovski, not going to happen. He will win, though. Islam is a big minute winner. He doesn't know how to win minutes, right? Stay on people's backs. Now, since their last fight to this fight, the judging in MMA has changed quite a bit over the last month or two, in my eyes. So guys that's right out top position isn't getting as much credit as it used to. You can't just take a guy down and do nothing anymore. We saw a couple weeks ago with Vanessa Demopoulos. I mean, if you were counting Murata on top as winning the fight, then that should have been a Kanako Murata unanimous decision 30-27 the whole way through. But if you saw that second round where she was riding out top position but was getting punched and elbowed from the bottom, I know they don't hurt. I know the sting is taken off them. I know. But that is basically what won Vanessa Demopoulos that fight. That is what won her that fight. And, I mean, for parts of the fight the last time, Volkanovski kind of looked like he was a fish out of water on the back because Islam is very strong on top in the first couple rounds, at least the first 2 rounds, half of the third round. So, but he's got to do stuff. from on top. It's got to do stuff because I don't think they're going to give him that same what's it called? You know what I mean? That same due prowess by having, just riding out top position, because he let Volk back in that last fight and made it that close because he literally could have ran Volkanovski perfect in that fight if he just, fought. But I feel like the cardio was off and a few other things were off too. So maybe you get a better version of Makhachev. Maybe you get a better version of Volk. All I know is this. I say this fight goes to decision. And I say Makhachev probably wins that decision by the earlier rounds.
I just want to throw out there, like, when I'm looking at how Volkanovski can win this fight, I think it has to be by knockout. Like, I think if it's an Islam over, or if I don't think Volkanovski is going to outpoint him over 5. He'd have to drop him and finish him. I think the only way he wins is by finishing him. So if you're stabbing the dog, and I don't blame you, we all love Alexander Volkanovski, but I just think if you're playing him, you got to play by knockout. Like, that's how Islam lost in the past, and that's probably how he's going to lose eventually. So if you're playing Volk, you take the extra money and you go by knockout, and you're probably going to get like plus 800 or something crazy like that.
Nope. I agree with you though, because Abu Dhabi has a lot to do with this, right? He's at home. Any close fight's going to go to Islam. Islam's a minute winner in this fight, by far the minute winner in this fight, right? Like, I get it. But Volk will only be able to take Islam down when Islam tires out. It's not the other way around. So by the time Volkanovski is able to take him down, or any sort of ground game on top, it might be the 4th, 5th round. That's why that 5th round was so dicey last time, right? And like you said, he needed to finish him in that 5th round. I knew that Volkanovski was going to lose that fight. I scored it 48-47 for Makhachev anyway. I feel like
I thought Islam won. I didn't see any controversy there.
Yeah, everyone that says that there was so much, that played, no. I hate the guy. He's like one of my least favorite fighters of all time. Of all time. Like, Khabib's better than him, like, in my eyes, but whatever. I pick Makhachev and I say decision, but if Volk wins, like you said, KO is not off the table.
And I just want to say too, I like Volkanovski way more as a person or whatever, but I have to give respect to Islam here for taking this fight too. Like, he even said, "Hey, I'm the champion. What does champion mean? It means we fight anyone. Of course I accept it." Like, he could have weaseled out of this fight or whatever, but he's very confident, and I do like that. I like that he let this fight happen.
Easily, yeah, for sure.
Okay, guys, that's our early predictions. Check back in a few days when the props drop. We're going to have a bet episode with all our favorite bets, and we'll give you some props that we like. As always, like I said, subscribe, drop us a comment. Let us know who your confident picks are. Let us know what you agree with or disagree with, and we'll see you in a couple days for the bet show. Have a good one, guys.
Peace.